John King was a legend, an absolute legend in Altrincham Football Club. He was a legend not just for us, but for clubs across the North West. He occupies such an important place in our hearts, and I'm very glad that his family are here to see him this evening. We're now going to have a minute's applause for Kingy, which will start and end on the referee's whistle. Thank you.
I thought he'd be invincible, which he was most of the time.
Great friend, a leader of men, and he's just a winner.
The most committed, loyal, dedicated man I ever met.
He was a massive character, honestly. He was my hero, as I say. I'm privileged he was my father.
On Tuesday the 7th of February 2023, family, friends and football fans from across the North West mourned the passing of former Wigan athletic and Altrincham icon, John King.
Kingy enjoyed spells at both Wigan and Northwich Victoria before being signed by the Robins back in 1977 for what many call a bargain price of just £3,500. But it was here at the Latics that John really developed into the skillful but hard midfielder he had become so very well known for. Aged just 24, John joined Wigan back in March 1972, where he'd go on to make 191 appearances for the Ticks, helping his side to multiple cup trophies and even a Northern Premier League title in 1975.
John was probably the hardest person I've ever come across on a football pitch. Not just physically, but like as an opponent in terms of his will to win came across so much. That was made available for transfer, and Altrincham were one of the clubs that came in for me. A few other clubs came in, but I always remember Tony Saunders, the Altrincham manager, came round to speak to me about terms and stuff, and I asked him, I did actually ask him what did John think about it like, and he said, he's fine, it's his idea, which actually made me feel a lot better. I thought I was a winner. I thought I had a great winning mentality till I went there, and they took it to another level, and it was all through him, really.
I was told that John actually referred to you as the toughest player he ever played with and played against. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but what does it mean to hear that from a player as tough as he was?
I have to say it touches me a lot, really. I sort of maybe heard it before, but not, since he's died, and I think that's as big a compliment as you could ever have, really. It surprised me in a way, but now you've brought it up, it absolutely makes me feel so proud, really. For him to say that, it's something special.
To Altrincham supporters, Kingy is somebody that needs no introduction. The club stalwart made over 200 appearances for the Robins, captaining his side to 2 Alliance Premier League titles, an FA trophy in 1978 and numerous Football League giant killings, all through his leadership as a player.
He was larger than life, John. Really was larger than life. And you always knew, JK, I never say John's JK to me. You always knew when JK was in the room. I got transferred to Wigan. It's about 1972, and John was a bit ahead of me. He'd come from Kirby, and he went into the first team. I went into Wigan reserves. Halfway through 72, I got in the first team and started playing with John. Everything about him, his attitude, his application to the game, his commitment, was to an extreme that me personally, I'd never experienced.
John joined Altrincham not long after you'd arrived at Moss Lane. How much of an impact did he have on that squad when he joined?
Immediate. We were good then without John, but there was just this something bit missing. Leadership is probably the word. And he came in, he was skipping more or less right away, and then things just changed. That was lift off. The final piece of the jigsaw, the piece that tied it all together. I remember John as the most committed, loyal, dedicated friend, man. As I said in my opinion, the greatest man I ever met. I'll truly miss him, and as I said, through economics, I loved him.
Off the field, John ran a thriving scaffolding firm before handing over the business to his children, John, Nicky and David.
You know, we are a well-established big scaffolding firm, you know, in the Northwest. We believe that, and he's left us all that, and he's given us all the tools to continue that. And that's what we intend to do. The two things I did say he'd want was continue the scaffold firm and look after my mother, and that's what we're doing. He was a massive character to everyone around him. And as I say, if he walked in a room, you knew he'd walked in a room, if that makes sense. And honestly, he was my hero. He was my hero, genuinely, growing up. I know everyone's father would be the hero, but he genuinely was. And as I say, I'm privileged he was my father. He was always caring, loving, and he'd always make sure you were looked after. And that's just the way he was. He was like that with his players, wasn't he? Whether he played with players or he was managing them. We were very close. I believe we were very close, and he was, you know, I think I was his blue eye. I always thought that right through my childhood and got spoilt a little bit, shall we say. My partner, Carly, used to say, like even a couple of days before he passed away on the Sunday, because it was the Tuesday he passed away, "Are you okay, John?" on the phone. He'd go, "No, I'm not okay, I'm JK," obviously for his initials. And then she'd say, "Are you all right, John?" He'd go, "No, I'm half left, Carly," you know, things like that. So even though the dementia was getting hold of him a bit, he still had his planks to the side of it. His time is up, but he's led the life of three fellas, put it that way. I always say that to everyone. He's led the life of me, you, and that fella and the fella over there, you know. He's led a big life, and I'm sure, again, people who have been around him will understand exactly what I mean by that. Privileged he was my father, and I mean that, genuinely privileged.